The supernatural knowledge of Jesus Christ that God gave him, Yeshua, or showed to his servants that all things will happen very quickly and suddenly. He sent his angel and said all these things, his servant John and the Sangitalya. Angel, or the word, angel, or angel, in the book is in the Yeshua century. The word ha in the Bible is tinashe times. Angels are spiritual beings. Man cannot see them, but angels can appear in physical form. Their number is innumerable and uncountable. Revelation chapter 5 verse 11. When I saw, there was a voice of many angels surrounding that king, those animals and those elders, the number of which was millions and millions. Romans chapter 6 verses 17-22. Gratitude to God you did not become a slave to Asot's transgressions and sins. Had your heart been happy, you would have accepted them from your conscience. In fact, after being freed by grace alone, you became a slave to faithfulness. Is giving the example of slaves and the people who keep them. I say, it is easy to understand from such examples. Look, earlier you were a slave of impurity and illegal behavior, but now you have chosen to become a slave of only legal, virtuous and good life, so that the behavior becomes pure at the end. Because at the time you were a slave of crime, at that time you were not worried about anything or that. Only that which is appropriate and appropriate should be done. Whatever thing you feel ashamed of, you should leave it at that time. What benefit would there be from these things? Because the end of all things is death, but you come free from sin, a slave of God. You can do everything through it, through which you get purity and the result of which is eternal life or divine life. This does not mean that the things narrated that were written or were happening at the time or after the time of John, or that they had not yet begun to be fulfilled. Comparison: Jesus said 3 times that he would come soon. There are 3 opinions among the experts. According to God's thoughts or words, it means soon. Don Peter 10 verse 8 verse 9 verse 4, notes, or the Greek word, lovekar, which means suddenly. Once it started, those events were happening quickly and gradually. 10 verse 2 or darshanat yohan jagacha shef pahat asavat, those events were happening quickly and quickly, or the word, lavkar, indicates the occurrence of those events. The things or books that have been written and are about to happen, those events can begin at any time, therefore people of every age should always be ready for the arrival of Jesus. Matthew chapter 24 verses 42-44. Therefore be alert and awake, because you do not know on which day the Lord will come. It is understood that if the owner of the house knows at what time the thief will come in the night, then he will remain alert and will not let the thief break into the house. Therefore you too are perfect and ready, because the Son of Man will come at a time when you cannot even imagine or expect. Matthew 24 verse 36. But even the heavenly angels do not know about that day and that moment, only my Father knows about that. In verse 42, Jesus says, Jagrat Asaf, here it is said, Tire Asaf, related to the arrival of Jesus. Both the duties of the disciples are the same. Notes: Matthew 25 verse 13. You do not know the day or the hour when the Son of Man will come. In fact, you remained awake and prepared. Jagrat Rav means not Rav, watching like an observer of something happening. Because you know a certain time, you have to be alert and internally always prepared. Matthew chapter 25 verse 10. But when she went to sell oil, the groom came and washed it. As she was ready, she came to Lagna along with the groom and closed the door. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verses 6-8. Therefore let me sleep like others, but let us be alert, awake, and be alert. Purnanka 7 because those who sleep during the night, and those who swing at night, But as for those who are of the day, let us be alert, wearing the armor of faith and love and wearing the helmet of the hope of salvation. Matthew chapter 24 verses 42-43. Therefore, be alert and awake, because you do not know on which day the Lord will come. 43. It is understood that if the owner of the house knows at what time the thief will come in the night, then he will remain alert and will not let the thief break into the house. Acts रात्रीचे 12:25. Paul spoke to them about righteousness, self-control, and the judgment to come. Felix, trembling and afraid, said, "Go away for now. When I have a convenient time, I will call for you." Felix was full of immorality, a great lack of self-control, and, as mentioned before, lust was full of his thoughts' righteousness. He was about to face the judgment of God. The prisoner Paul dared to go straight to the hearts of the greatest and most powerful men of the land and put his finger on both his guilt and his need. Like one in every age, thus Felix was putting off, deliberately ignoring the appointed moment of judgment. Beloved, will there ever be a time of convenience for those who live their entire lives in vain in rebellion against God? Will there ever be a time of convenience for those who follow their own desires and go against God?